you. Well, my dear friend Alejandra invited me today, and I came in maybe her half of her sharing, but I was so inspired, to about her story of forgiveness that I wanted to share my own. And I thank Lynn for reading my bio. I know I sent, some little text inside the little chat room, so I know it was hard for her to read that. I'm not familiar with the format of the group, but I would love to share just impromptu sharing about it's about forgiveness, and it's about accepting and finding it's like being in gratitude about situations or people who've come into our life, piggybacking on what Alejandra said about, it's that freedom that comes when you can see that situation of what it was and letting that go. Whatever you described about yourself, you define about yourself or define about that situation, letting that go. But it's in that true forgiveness and accepting that the beauty of the situation or the person, it's in gratitude. And the next step would be declaring, if once you can see that, yes, that person came into my life to teach me a lesson, or we had a soul contract, we had a kind of a karmic contract for them to come in to give me some to learn, teach me about myself or help me grow. And once we've come into that acceptance and forgiveness and release and gratitude, it would be declaring, in that space when we let go of what doesn't serve us, and we can untie or disconnect those cords of that past experience or person, then it's declaring who we are, what we're here to be. And in that very declaring very clearly, sending that message, let's say to spirit or God or whatever you call that cosmic universal life force energy, whatever you I call that spirit. It's declaring what you want with such passion and such belief, and then letting that go. And it's trusting spirit, trusting that the angels and the universe is conspiring, right, to bring to us what we have declared. And it's that kind of letting go and in anticipation, knowing that all that you have declared will come in. That is true power, it's true freedom, and it's true it's true magic. And so I guess in the story, about 4 years ago, I completed a long-term marriage with my former, and we were together almost 30 years. And I had made a promise that we would be life partners, but somehow in my spirit, inside, I knew that I was stepping into my power. I was stepping into who I was meant to be, and I was stepping into who, what my life was meant to be. But then I was holding on to this contract with my former, his name's Gordon. And, when he, to make this part short, when he had suggested that we go our separate ways and we, our life would be better, and we have time for other partners and all that. And when I really accepted that yes, this is part of my life plan. And then we filed for the divorce, and I went to Ireland. And so my story is that on this magical spiritual pilgrimage to Ireland, on an ancient fortress on an island off the east coast of Ireland, I did truly forgive on a very blustery, rainy day. I forgave myself. I forgave my partner. I saw the gratitude. I was just so appreciative. I knew why I really accepted why our marriage came together, why we had kids and a house and the minivan and all those things that I wanted and needed as a woman as a woman, I needed and I wanted. But then I was in gratitude for all that he served, even with the pain and even with the struggling, and even though that life dream was over, seemed to be over, that I realized that it was a chapter of my life that was over, that needed to come to a completion. So on that blustery, windy, rainy day on a fortress in Ireland, I just was in, like, forgave. And then immediately it was bringing in my ancestors and seeing how they were supporting me. And then it was declaring who I am, who my right to be here, really connecting with my true purpose on this planet at this time, and saying, yeah, and if I could say, yes, I'm here to do this. I have a right to be here. All the lessons that my former had provided and all the childhood traumas, it was all preparing me to say, yes, this is what I want. And so the next step was bringing in and saying, Spirit, I trust you that all the things that I declare is coming in. So to be very specific, at the beginning of that trip, I sat next to a new friend who was on the trip, and she was a psychic, and she said to me on the first night, you are going to meet your soulmate. You are going to meet your soulmate in 4 months. He's going to be this way. You're going to meet him in this environment. And and you don't have to date. She described the whole event, and it's within 4 months. And so, part of all of this is the letting go, forgiveness, and stepping into this new space of what you want. So we cried and cried, and I believed it. I believed that I would be meeting my soulmate and stepping into the love that I always really deserved and wanted. And so I believed, and I prayed, and I brought in, I declared, and I said, yes, I feel you. You're here, you're coming in. And so as I was forgiving and letting go of the contract I had with my husband, I was letting in love, and I was declaring exactly what I wanted. And I was believing this person who said your soulmate's gonna come in, and this is gonna be how it is. And so I prayed, and I brought in, and I declared, and I trusted, and I envisioned what I really, really, really wanted. And I came back to the United States. I'm in Irvine, California. And 1 week later, I'm in Irvine, California. I was in Oakland, California. I was visiting my sister in Sacramento. We went to my cousin's house for a concert. And I was just being myself and just loving life, and just knowing that any minute I could meet, my soulmate. And I was dancing, and I opened my eyes, and boom, there was this tall guy, and he was asking me about my hair, and we started talking, and then we started sharing, and then we just, felt really good. I felt really, I just felt so at peace. And then boom, we exchanged phone numbers. We've had a beautiful relationship ever since. It is the person that I brought in. It could happen because I believed, and also because I let go and I forgave, and I declared, and I was in gratitude. And just like Alejandra, I was able to say thank you with tears in my eyes for everything, in gratitude. I do love my former, and I'm so appreciated. I appreciate him so much. And I do appreciate my life and all the beautiful lessons that I was able to learn. And I'm enjoying my soulmate. I'm enjoying stepping into my future with him. I'm supported in my Reiki practice and in my healing arts practice by him. And so really, truly, just as kind of a closure, it came with accepting that this person or situation is there for a reason, to see the beauty in that, even though there's maybe pain and trauma. And also it's forgiving, and it's not only forgiving that person, but it's forgiving yourself. It's forgiving life. It may sometimes doesn't seem like it turned out as it should, but it always does. It's always turning out as it should. but we're forgiving life sometimes. Sometimes it's forgiving spirit or God if you have, like, hey, this didn't turn out. But it is then the forgiveness, the declaring what you want with true compassion, being clear about what you want and being in gratitude. And it's kind of like a letting go and a trust in the universe and spirit, that and doing what your part to bring it in, but also knowing that said very clearly, this is what I want, and I know it's on its way. And then in that trust, then magic and all the things that you really want can happen. So that's my story. I don't know if that's 15 minutes, but thank you for letting me share.